Good morning. Running a little weird today. That's okay. I'm Julia. This is beginning yoga. This is the fucking yoga company. No, not that kind of yoga. Beginning yoga is easy, I would say easy to, let's say, intermediate energy yoga flow. My background isn't Vinny yoga. Sorry, I'm gathering up all my props. I'm sitting on a blanket to make myself comfortable. You don't need a blanket if you don't have one. That's fine. Lovely, cool morning here in Colorado. Finally, a little rain, easing up on some fire stuff, at least in northern Colorado. I'm going to be listening to, what am I listening to? I'm listening to Bright and Perky, the Bright and Perky Yoga playlist on Spotify at the Effin Yoga. You can follow me there if you want access to my playlists. Outside of that, we're going to get started in comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like for you. Sorry. I like to say I'm going to hitch my giddy up, but my giddy up right this morning is in my brain. Coffee, more and more and more coffee. All right. So comfortable seated position is whatever that looks like for you. It can be a leg out, both legs out if you're comfortable that way. A leg in. We're going to sit for a moment and take a scan of the body. We want to pull our attention and awareness from the external to the internal and just notice the state and quality of our physical form. I don't know about you, but I've been doing a lot of what I would call grunt work this week, painting, packing boxes, cleaning, getting ready to try and sell our house. I don't know. It's feeling crazier and crazier by the moment, but that's all right. I run a little hot on the crazy side anyway. More coffee. All right. Taking a scan of the body. What is already playing out for you from the week? Maybe you slept wonky, took a long bike ride. I don't know. Let's check it out. That's not a good sign. All right, we're going to move our attention and awareness into the state and quality of our thinking, checking in with what is going on, what is left over from the week, what's pushing into your to-do list for the weekend. Let's move those things off to the side. We want to clear and hold an open space for the length of the practice so that we can spend our time only on the mat. We're going to move that silence into the attention of the breath. And traditionally in yoga, we breathe into and out of the nose. But if you are having allergies or you're in an area where it's still smoky, we want to just find a comfortable space to breathe in. And now we're going to invite that breath to get a little bit longer and a little bit deeper. And we want to move to match the length of inhale to the length of exhale. So we're going to create this rhythm that's what we're going to attempt to maintain throughout the length of the practice. Wherever you are in the length and balance of that breath, let's exhale all the air out of the lungs. We're going to connect the sweep of the arms toward the ceiling to the next inhale. And we want to work to maintain the speed of the body in connection to the length and balance of that breath. So your length and balance of breath might be different than mine. We're going to come up through our arm sweep, and then we're going to take a lean. So let's drop the right arm down, a little lift through the rib cage, keeping the space open between the ear and the shoulder. I'll say that frequently during the practice. Shrug your shoulders down, away from the ears. We want to keep that space open rather than a lot of yoga instruction, which is, align your bicep to your ear. We don't do that in the fucking yoga brand. We want to keep those spaces long because we're already typically stressed and compressing. We're already hunched up in the shoulders, generally, where we keep our stress. So we want to keep those structures relaxed as possible and maintain. It's about creating space. Let's do one more, mostly because I forgot what I was counting. It happens. Also, no harm in a little extra side extension for the body. Let's come on up. We're going to take our first forward fold. So we're tracing fingers down in front of us. We're going to roll the shoulders. I'm going to grab the block, mush mouth today. We're going to rest the body weight on the elbows. So you can rest on the knees. You can go to the calves. You can go to the feet. I'm going to hit this block. You can go touch the floor if you have that room. Tucking the chin against the chest at the bottom of that bow. Let's wiggle the toes, relax the feet, and unclench the teeth. With the next inhale, we're going to lengthen those arms, walking hands back. Let's sweep up toward the ceiling. And now we're going to release all the way out with the fingertips. A little shrug of the shoulders, soft in the elbows. You're going to hear me say that a lot as well. We're going to release those fingers down to the mat, tucking hands next to hips, facing backward, bowing chin forward. Let's take a little head tilt. So we're going to work through repetition here. Often we just hold for the stay. Let's move today, just tilting the ear to one side, bowing the chin forward and tilting the ear to the other. So I don't semicircle, or I do semicircle, we don't do head circles, because we're already working to prevent crunching and grinding in the spinal column. And when you look up, you are narrowing the space between the vertebral phalange. Say that 5 times fast. And we're compressing cervical spine. So keeping the cervical spine long means staying in neutral or bowing the chin forward. So let's relax the chin in front of our chest. We're going to bring the fingertips around the front of the body and slowly stack our cervical spine. I'm going to change the cross the legs. If you're seated with your legs extended, you are fine. If you have a leg extended and a leg in, let's go ahead and switch that extension. We're going to take another sweep of the arms toward the ceiling. Nice big reach on up. And letting all of that relax down. Nice big slow stretch up. And release it on down. So we're going to come on up and take a squeeze back with the elbows. Little drop with the shoulders. We're going to open palms up, reach back a little further with the thumbs. Just shake out that neck, creating some space. Nice big inhale up. Let's squeeze back with those shoulders. So squeeze back and down, a little shrug, and now turn palms up and reach even further behind you. Reaching up. We're going to do that one more time. Woo. Feeling that energy and stretch. Squeeze back and down. Reach back. Coming on up, we're going to head for our forward fold. Let's trace down and tuck through the chin, rolling through the upper body. I'm going to take a little sway side to side just to work through those obliques. And I think this time I am coming down to the mat. But remember, you're resting your elbows wherever you are comfortable. Knees, calves, block, floor. Wiggle the toes, relax the feet, unclench the teeth. And with the next inhale, let's lengthen through arms, walking hands back. Nice big stretch up toward the ceiling. Let's release those arms out, little shrug the shoulders, soften the elbows, and let them rest at our hips. We're going to bow and take our semicircles. So just tilting the ear over, releasing through, and tilting in the other direction. And we're just going to trace fingertips around the front of the body and stack cervical spine. We're moving to hands and knees. I like to pad my knees with a blanket. I'm moving my block out to the end of my mat so I can have access to it if I need it. All right. I like to pad my knees with a blanket. You can use a towel. If you don't have a blanket, I think yoga blankets are a wise investment just because you can use them for so many things. All right, so we're going to rest our hands side by side on the mat, resting the knees to either sides of our fists. That's going to create a wider stance while we move back and forth. I would like you to keep your hips stacked over your knees at 90 degrees. However, we're going to take the heels of the hands from 90 degrees under the shoulders, out a full half to a full palm's length. That takes the pressure off of your wrists, releases some of that tension in the carpal tunnel, and lets you soften your elbows and keep those shoulders shrugged down and open away from your ears. We're going to take a nice inhale here and work through what I call Chakravarkasana bow. Tucking the chin, releasing forearms to the mat, tuck the tailbone, and take a bow toward the floor. Wiggling the fingers, rolling the wrists, making some fists. Inhaling forward. Soften the elbows. Let's release the chin. Place the forearms down. We're doing that to flatten the upper back. Then we tuck the tailbone and scoop the belly for this long stretch through the lumbar. Structure. Stopped my sentence. Midway there. Inhaling. We're going to take one more of these. Coming on forward. We're going to take an oxen lean. I call this WTF. Push the hip out over one side. Look over the opposite shoulder at your heel. Then we're going to inhale through center and lean in the other direction. Soften the elbows. Relaxed out of the shoulders. And then you're going to give me a little angry cat tuck. So we're going to tuck tailbone, drop the chin. I'm still soft in the arms. Arch the back toward the ceiling and then lean into the heels a little to stretch through that lumbar curve. Inhale through flat spine. We're going to stay nice and engaged through the core. And then we're going to take our Chakravarkasana bow, releasing chin, placing the elbows, and then tracking back with the hips to heels. Open up those elbows a little bit. Let's wiggle the fingers, roll the wrists, make some fists. And let's come forward. We're going to take our oxen lean again, pushing out over one hip and looking into the heel. Sweeping through the other side. Let's come to center and take our angry cat tuck. So release the chin, tuck the tailbone. Remember, stay soft in the elbows, a little lean back into the heels. We're going to stay round like a ball. So keep rounded as we drop those hips back toward the feet and come forward into the elbows. And I want you to lift the chest, a little bit of pressure on the forearms, hollow everything out and up. Just keep your gaze anchored at the mat. We want to keep that cervical spine in alignment with the rest of the spine. Just a little warmth here. We're holding. I'm engaged in the core. I'm lifting up from the center of my body. And now we're going to release into child's pose. Let the body rest. Open up the elbows. Wiggle the fingers. Roll the wrists. One more time. And coming forward through our inhale. And let's take our WTF lean. Push the hip over. Inhaling through center. Soften the elbows, please. Lean. Coming through center. Tuck in tailbone. Release the chin. Soften the elbows. Arch the back. A little lean toward the heels. Now let's lean. Stay rounded like a ball. We're coming to that bow. And then we're going to push in to the forearms, lifting the body away from the mat. So we're going to take our right leg straight out, and I want you to arch into the core a little bit deeper. So I'm holding the weight of that leg in the center of the core. I'm up out of my shoulders. I'm not sinking down here. I want you to lift and exaggerate the curve of the belly up toward the spine. Try to stay balanced on this hip. Instead of rocking into the side of the hip, I want you to engage up and lift. Bringing that knee in. Let's take a little child's pose, pause. Ooh, that was a good phrase. Child's pose, pause. Wiggle the fingers, roll the wrists, make some fists. Coming forward. Arch up, exaggerate the engagement of the core, and take that left leg straight out. A lot of core work here, right up the obliques. Keep hollowed, keep lifted. And bring the knee in, releasing into child's pose. Wiggle the fingers, roll the wrists, make some fists. Let's come forward through our hands and knees. Soften the elbows, lean. Other side. Coming through, let's take our angry cat tuck. So now we're going to lean back into the heels, staying round like a ball. Take that full stretch through the lumbar to the sit bones. Come into the elbows, hollowed up. I have very little pressure on my hands. I'm balanced on my weight of the forearms between my elbows and my wrists so that I'm not digging my elbows into the mat. We're going to hollow up the belly, so really engage the core here. Lengthen out that right leg, straight back. Exaggerate that core lift. We're going to lift a little higher. Lift a little higher. Lift a little higher. Come on down, bring it in, and release to child. It's the shifting of the gears. We're going to take a little forward fold to release the energy through the core and the lumbar. Coming on through to the elbows. Engage the core, big, heavy exaggeration. Lengthen that left leg out. All right, we're going to lift that leg a little higher. Stay engaged. Don't let the upper body sink. Lift the leg a little higher. Woo! Bring it back in and release. Wiggle the fingers, roll the wrists, make some fists. We're going to come forward to tuck our toes for our first runner stretch. Little downward facing dog position. So tuck the toes. We're going to lift the hips to the feet. I'm going to step forward to center the weight of my body into the balls of the feet. I'm staying soft in the knees, which means my heels are slightly off the mat. I'm behind my wrists. So if you even feel like you're a little close over the wrists, walk your hands forward just a little. Soft in the elbows. Give me that squish. Shrug the shoulders down and open away from the ears. I'm looking at my toes. I want you to pull the belly up and in just like we did in that exaggerated lift, and then lean back a little bit with the power of the core away from the heels of the hands. There's just no way to describe this feeling. I want you to feel powered up and lifted out for downward facing dog. We're going to come forward. Now we are a little forward. I want you to feel that engagement of the upper body. Give me a little dip of the elbows. Turn the elbows in. Feel that pressure in the pecs. Now lean back and keep that engagement. Let's come down to the knees and release into child's pose. So upper body strength. Little wiggle of the fingers, roll the wrists. We're going to be working a lot of upper body today. I'm going to grab a quick drink of coffee, grab a water. So let's talk about that. Just a moment. I'm going to take a sip for a second and then we'll continue. If you are, let's play a little Frankenstein game. If you reach forward just like Frankenstein, right? A zombie, the monster, actually, it's not Frankenstein. You will see, and I'll turn this way so you can see what's happening with my shoulders. My shoulders roll forward, and now the weight of my arm is up here in my rotator cuff and kind of running into my bicep, which is not where the weight of your arm is supposed to be held. I want you to shrug the shoulders back. So if you reach forward, exaggerate the roll of the shoulders, and you can feel the loss of the core power because you're kind of hunched over. I want you to lift the chest and get tall. Imagine, right, that you're pressing the back of your head, the base of your neck, and your spine up against the wall. You see what happens? Your shoulders shift back because we're not slouching, and now we're holding the weight of the arm. Can you feel it? Right up underneath the teres minor and into the lat and the rhomboid. And that's where the weight of the arm should be balanced, right? Because then, you can throw shit. So the same goes for any upper body weight balance. So we're working a little dolphin pose today, and we're going to work on our downward facing dog pose today. So when I say and shrug those shoulders down and back, that's what I mean. If we're holding our weight on our body, we tend to roll forward. Shrug them back and down into the ribs, and then you rotate your elbows in. Let's do all that together. And you can feel that extra work in the upper back. So just roll shoulders forward, shrug them open and down. Look how wide my arm placement is, and I'm holding the placement of my arms up. Rotate the elbows in and then balance out the hands. Okay, we're holding a lot of body weight up. Relax the neck, unclench the teeth. I'm holding up the weight of my arms with my pecs, my rhomboids, my teres minor. That is the same feeling. Try to extend, but keep the shoulders down. You feel that engagement underneath your shoulder blades? Ay, ay, ay. And bring them in. Bring them in, bring them in, bring them in. Now you're feeling it in the front of the ribs right here. All right, let's relax that out. Shake that. So that's where I want your weight, the strength and the power to come from when we're working through this dolphin series with little downward facing dog. You're going to see downward facing dog practice very differently. Some people call it a resting pose. It's not a resting pose because we're going to energize the body from the armpits all the way to the hips. And then you can feel that right now, that work. We just really worked our shoulders and upper back. And you're also going to hear someone say, oh, shine your heart center towards the floor, whatever. Aim your heart towards the floor. I want you to hollow the center of your chest up and away. I want you to lift your body up away from the floor because we're not stretching our shoulders. Your shoulders are not designed to hold your body weight. They're not designed to hold any weight. And anybody who, like a baseball player or anybody who's torn a rotator cuff or done damage to their shoulders can tell you that your shoulders are not designed to hold your body weight. They're designed to do this. Okay? So we're going to work this through a little bit. We're going to take some calf stretch and our runner stretch, and then we're going to move up and down. I'll just talk you through it. All right? You got this? So be prepared. It's going to get a little core work. All right, so let's start in hands and knees. Soft in the elbows. I'm a little forward with the heels of my hands. I'm stacked 90 degrees, hips to knees. Let's take our what the fuck lean. Push the hip out. Look over the shoulder. And switch. Come into center. Angry cat tuck. Soft in the elbows. Lean back. Nice big roll through the heels. Scoop the belly. Come forward. Hollow that out. All right, so I'm lifting up. The weight of my body is centered in the forearms. Let's take the right leg back and up. Engage the core. Lift. And we're going to come in and take the left leg up and lift. So we're just working through to warm up the core. Let's tuck the toes. Let's take our child's pose. And come through hands and knees. We're going to tuck the toes and press up. I'm going to step the balls of my feet into that centered position. Soft in the knees, soft in the elbows. Shrug those shoulders down and away. And now I'm just going to push into one side. Taking a nice big stretch of the heels. Not the heels, the calves. Press the other heel down. I'm okay. Let's do one more in both directions. All right, we're going to glance forward and walk up to the end of the mat. We're going to take a soft forward fold. So the knees can be bent however you need them to be. This is an excellent place for the block. Or maybe you're touching the tops of your thighs or your shins. But I want you to keep your weight forward over the center of your feet rather than into the heels. See, I'm swaying back. I want you to engage the core, pull forward. You might have to bend your knees a little more deeply. All right, bend the knees, scoop the belly. Let's lift on up. Nice big stretch. We're going to take a little cactus squeeze back. Let's get that stretch through the arms. And now let's go into our lateral extension. Can you feel that core work? Yeah, that we just did in holding our body weight up? I can. And tilt. Coming on up, to come down, all the way down through my hip flexor that time. Take a forward folding chair. Let's stretch through the lumbar. All right, I'm going to touch the mat and step my right foot back. And I'm going to plant my hands and step my left foot back. So we're going to center the feet up. Adjust those feet. Get back behind the wrists. Soften the knees. Soften the elbows. Shrug the shoulders down and open away from the ears. Press into a heel. And shift. All right, we're going to come down to the knees. So I have to adjust. We're going to come into child's. Take that release. Wiggle the fingers, roll the wrists, make some fists. All right, we're coming forward. Take a what the fuck lean. Lean out. Shifting to the other side. Come into center. Angry cat tuck. Stay around like a ball. We're going to rock those hips back into our bow. Give your fists a little wiggle. Roll the wrists. Wiggle the fingers. And now let's come into the elbows. All right. So we're going to tuck up both feet here. And you're going to feel this extra oomph in the core. And we're headed toward a dolphin pose. I think this is dolphin pose. It's neither here nor there. Tuck the toes. And now we're going to add the extra element. Lift up. Now, you might feel a tendency to shrug into the shoulders. See, I'm going to drop down. This is where that lift, that float, to lift through the upper body, shrug the shoulders down away from the ears. And you can feel that body weight now in your core. So I'm just pressing up through the center of my forearms. I'm hollowing my back up and away. I'm shrugging my shoulders down away from my ears. Pull the belly up and against the spine. Hollow out the space under the ribs. Bring the knees down. Flatten the feet. Woo! Relax in a child's pose. Wiggle the fingers. Roll the wrists. All right. I'm going to take a minute. I want you to come up to seated. Wiggle those shoulders. Now you're feeling a lot of heat. Take a sway side to side with the neck. If you're clenching your teeth, right, you're going to feel that all through the neck. If you're shrugging into the shoulders, if you're letting your shoulders sag, you're going to feel that in the neck. So let's talk about that a little bit now that our feet are on the mat. This sink is important to avoid because then you're just hanging on their shoulder girdle. It gets harder to hollow up, hollow up, hollow up. Feel that core work. Shift the weight a little forward so that you're solid in the center of the forearm. And you're looking at your knees. We all have a different length of upper arm, right? Our humerus, is this the humerus bone? Everybody has a different length. So you might be actually just at the top of your head if your forearm, even if you're hollowed up and lifting away from the mat, that's fine. Just don't rest on the top of your head or press on the weight of your body into your head. So that's where I was going with that. I happen to have a little bit longer of a humerus, so I can get myself lifted up so that I have the room to tuck my chin. Keeping the gaze down, and then I can shift my weight forward, and now I'm all in my core. All right? You guys ready? We're going to add an element. All right, here we go. Hands and knees. Let's take a lean. Push the hip out. Look over the shoulder. Inhaling and shift. Let's take our angry cat tuck. And now continue that lean as we trace heels, hips towards heels. Coming into the elbows. I guess it's elbows is a misnomer here. It's not, we're into the forearms. That'll be better. Tuck the chin, hike the body up. All right, we're going to add that extra element. So we're tucking the toes and pressing up. Now, you might feel a little overextended with the legs. And that means we're going to walk in just a little bit. And now you've got to lift a little higher Go a little deeper into the core. Soften the knees. You're going to hear it in my breath. All right. If you're up for a challenge, let's just take the right toe off the mat. Take it straight out. Stay lifted. Don't sink into the shoulders. Release that foot down. Lift the left leg straight out. Soften the knee. Soften the knee. And come down. Woo! Walk it back. Take the knees down. And release into the fold. Wow. And come on through. I'm going to grab a little drink of water after that one. All right, you feeling that work? Yeah. All right, we're going to move on. I'm feeling that work. Are you feeling that work? I am recovering from the COVID. If you've never been here before, it is August. I had the COVID in March. I was in bed for 45 days. It is a real thing. Don't let anybody tell you it's not. I was a fit woman, and now I'm kind of weak. Okay. Stuck. Soften the elbows. So I'm struggling with you is what that was my long version of the point. Let's take a lean out into a hip. Are you feeling those obliques? I am. You're feeling that stretch right through the glute med. It's because we're using our core to hold our body weight up. Angry cat tuck. Stay curled like a ball. You're definitely feeling this lumbar. Needs a stretch. Release on down. Let's wiggle the fingers, roll the wrists, and then come forward to the forearms. All right, lift that chest. Hollow the belly. We're going to tuck the toes and press up. Now I have to step forward just a little bit so I can shift my weight a little forward into the forearms so I can hollow the belly up and out. Lift up from the center of the sternum. Take that right toe up off the mat, straight out. Soften the left knee. Hollow even deeper. Go deeper into the core for me. And bring that foot down. And shift to the other side. Are you breathing? I'm breathing. Bring the knees down. Oh, take a child's pose. Wiggle the fingers, roll the wrists, make some fists. Come forward through hands and knees. All right, we're going to tuck our toes and take our calf stretch and a little downward facing dog. Press up into the feet. Now I definitely have to step forward to center my weight right in the balls of my feet. Soften the knees, soften the elbows. Shrug the shoulders down away from your ears. My neck and face are relaxed. I'm looking at my toes. And lean, scoop the belly, and lean back away from the heels of the hands. Keep the shoulders shrugged and open. Push down into a calf. And shift. Wiggle those fingers. Just put the weight of the body into the heels of the hands. All right, let's take the knees down and release to child's pose. Woo! Wiggle the fingers, roll the wrists, make some fists. All right, we're going to come forward. Do we have time? We're going to come in. So that is dolphin pose. And as you get stronger, excuse me, you will be able to move your feet closer toward your face. And it's kind of the beginnings of not a headstand. I don't like the word headstand because then it means you're putting your weight of your body on your head. We don't do that either because you're compressing your cervical spine. But it is the beginning of taking and doing maybe, let's call it an arm stand. That's a better word for it, I think. All right, we're gonna rock ourselves down to our backs. Woo. Feeling your upper body? I'm feeling my upper body. Take a little rock side to side. All right, we are going to take an upper body stretch. So this is, we're gonna roll to one side. So open up those arms, palms to the ceiling, a little bit lower than the shoulders. So call it a soggy T rather than being up high. And we're gonna take our entire body over. So I'm just gonna roll to the ribs. I'm gonna turn my head and my hips, and I'm gonna let that back arm float a little off the mat. I'm gonna take this stretch. So I'm using the weight of the arm to stretch through the shoulder. Now I want you to drop pinkies toward your hip. Reach a little further long away from the ear. And then slowly extend a little toward your thumb toward the ear. And I just had to kind of rotate my shoulder blade down to take that stretch. All right, let's move that pinky back down toward the hip. All right, we're gonna move the thumb a little bit higher, shrug that shoulder back and down and get that stretch. All right, let's come on up. We're gonna do the same in the other direction. So rock completely over all the way till that back arm floats a little off the mat. All right, let's bring the pinky down toward the hip. And now we're gonna shift the thumb a little bit up, and I have to shrug my shoulder deeper to kind of move around that scapula. Bring the pinky down toward the hip. And then let's take the thumb up. And slowly unwind. Woo! Bring that knees in, give them a little squeeze. All right, we're gonna just take our toes out to the edge of the mat. We're gonna take our windshield wiper sweeps. I like those. And then we're gonna take a little hamstring stretch. Excuse me, I'm having some allergies this morning. Tilt the knees over. It was so cool and wonderful last night. We slept with the windows open, and now I have allergies. It's kind of a no-win situation. But it wasn't smoky. It was so nice. Draw on up. Big shout out to any first responders out there, my nurses, my firefighters. You're working it. One more time. And again. Coming on up. Let's rebalance the legs. So am I going to use my strap? I'm going to use my strap today, but I will cue without one so that you can, if you don't have a strap, don't need to worry about it. You could use like a pillowcase or a dish towel if you had one, or if your husband is not wearing any ties anymore because he's working from home all the time. Steal one of his ties. But we're going to push that heel up and away. So I want you to extend the leg a little bit away from the body so that you can imagine touching a button with your heel. That keeps the soft bend of the knee, lets you dorsal flex the foot. And now we're going to just interlace the fingertips right behind the hamstring somewhere and draw that leg toward your body. If you have a strap, we're just going to hook that right over the arch of your foot. I'm sliding my hands up, and then I'm going to draw down with some tension to rest my elbows on the mat. And then I'm going to draw my fists toward my shoulders. The strap just gives you extra leverage so that you're definitely flat on the spine and your shoulders are open. Release some of that tension. Take that leg past the knee, the other knee, yes. And now we're going to draw that leg towards us. I want you to push into the left foot. So push into the foot. It's a little tilt to the hip. You're going to get a little longer, and that stretch is going to go right up into the glute med. And release. Bring that knee in, give a little squeeze, little rock and roll. Ooh, did you hear that? Something just squeezed all the air out or slid right back into place. I love it. All right. We're going to do the same on the other side. So if you don't have a strap, just push that leg out long along the mat. That was a terrible sentence, but that's what you're going to get on Saturday morning. Press the heel like you were going to touch a button. That keeps a soft bend in the knee, dorsiflex the toes. Then you just wrap the fingers right around the hamstring and draw that leg toward the body. You can take that leverage or remove the hands from back behind the leg to just give that break for a minute, and then we're going to bring it on up. Now I want you to push into the right foot, little tilt of the hips up, ooh, get you right into, all the way down the hamstring into the glute med. And release that tension. Bring that knee in, give it a squeeze. Rock and roll the ankles, wiggle the toes. Bring that other knee up, give it a squeeze. Take a little rock side to side. All right, we're going to take the two hands around the right knee, lengthen the left leg. Big stretch, reach the toe long. Draw the knee up closer to the body. All right, we're going to bring the left knee up, two hands around it, lengthen the right leg. All right, bring both knees up, give them a squeeze, take a little rock side to side. Here's where I would like you to take a scan of the body. Where would you like a little extra stretch? Maybe we didn't do one of your favorite stretches and you want to tackle that. Maybe you're feeling someplace that you weren't noticing before. Feel free to move and shake in that direction. We're going to move into Shavasana, which is final relaxation. And there are a variety of ways you can take that. So traditionally it is legs extended, arms at your sides, palms up. But a lot of people are not comfortable laying like that on the mat. You can bring your feet up, place them on the mat, let your knees tent in. You can rest your hands anywhere you want. I am going to take seated meditation today because I think I might have to suck it up and take an allergy pill. But give yourself that stretch. Make yourself comfortable, particularly body temperature wise. It might be a little chilly for in your room, on your floor, in your living room, wherever you're at. Take a moment to get yourself comfortable, body temperature wise, stretch wise. And then let's start to work ourselves into the position that's going to work for you for final relaxation. Soft, easy inhale, soft, silent exhale. Excuse me. All right. Let's pull our attention and awareness into the forehead. Notice the line of all of those tiny little muscles along the space between the two temples. And now we're going to just imagine smoothing that out. We want to release any tension. Feel the eyebrows go smooth. Feel soft around the sockets of the eyes. Let's soften through the cheeks, unclench the teeth. Let the tongue relax away from the roof of the mouth. And let's feel soft through both sides of the neck and down into the shoulders. Let those shoulder blades sink a little heavier toward the floor. We want to relax through biceps and triceps. Feel soft through the elbows, through the forearms. Little wiggle of fingers, roll the wrists. Feel the upper body rest against the mat. Let's take our attention and awareness down through the spine from the base of the neck, through both sides of the ribs, little rock side to side of the torso, little clench of the glutes, little tug of the tailbone, and then release the energy from the torso down to the hips. Feel rested against the mat. Relax the energy out of the quads and wrap that around to the space of the hamstrings. Feel soft behind the knees. Maybe a little flexion or rock side to side of the calf muscles. Wiggle the toes. Roll the ankles. And now let the lower body rest completely against the floor. Let's put the attention into the space and quality of our thinking. There might be some things waking up or trying to push into our to-do list. Let's slide those things off to the side. Relax through the emotions. Let's anchor that silence, and then let's just pay attention to the breath. Soft, easy inhale, soft, silent exhale. We're going to draw some deeper breaths into the lungs, pulling the breath in. Big sighing breath out. Let's take a few more of those. Wiggling the fingers, rolling the wrists, wiggling the toes, rolling the ankles. Let's lengthen the arms out from away from the chest into that T-stretch. We're going to slide them up over the head and take a big yawning, getting out of bed reach. Letting those hands drift down towards the hips. Let's bring the knee up and give it a squeeze. And let's bring the other knee up and give it a squeeze. We're going to rock side to side, roll from one hip, cross back to the other. Ooh, until you're ready to rock completely over to one side, resting your head on your arm. Taking a moment to notice the support of the floor beneath you. And now let's walk our hands up under the body. We're going to come back up into comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like for you. Take a little rock side to side. Roll the shoulders back. I'm going to hook my fingertips over my knees and tilt my head to one side and take a big lean, using the leverage of the body weight to stretch from the neck down to the elbow. And bow the chin forward and shift that weight. Ooh, we're going to center up the body, stacking shoulders over ribs, ribs over hips, and take a scan, checking in, state and quality of the physical form on this end of the practice. Moving that attention and awareness into the space and quality of your thinking, let's check in what's going on in the brain. We can start letting those to-dos for the weekend get back into the list with a little bit of elbow room, no pushing, no shoving. And finally, just taking a casual inhale and exhale, casual. Let's call it intuitive. Let's just notice the quality and state of the breath. I'm going to blink my eyes open. Let's release practice. I like to take this big funnel stretch up toward the ceiling. You do not have to join me if it's not going to feel your jam today. Ooh, excuse me. Letting all of that go, taking a moment to honor your body for doing what you asked it to do today and all the hard work it does to get you from one end of the week to the other. Thank you so much for joining me online at the fucking yoga company. My name is Julia. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, yoga@jclynn.com. The website is the THEEFFING yogablog.com. Schedule's up there. There are purchase links on the schedule. You can go to the store and get yourself some fabulous attitude-y, sassy swag. You can subscribe to my email list and get some notifications. So in a couple weeks, I'm going to send out a secret book cover reveal. But you're only going to get it if you are a subscribing member. Anyway, thank you so much. Keeping me safe, keeping you safe, keeping our groove going. It's not ideal, I know it, but it is what it is. And we have to keep everybody healthy. We got to beat this virus so that we can get back to normal, to a new normal, new sense of normal. Hey, have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the cool weather. Thanks so much.